Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Hannah Season 2, Episode 1, Safe. So, Season 2, in my opinion, is the best season of Hannah. It's more like spy espionage feel to it. It's better written and stuff. I like the first season. My only problem is it's too much like the movie. So there are just some scenes and some parts that just feels a little too disconnected. There was too much focus on like the family in first season, and it just felt a little bit disjointed. But it was still a good season. Season 3 is also a good season, but I don't know. It's just parts of the story just didn't feel right to me. Like introducing the whole Marissa like backstory of her father was just kind of like, 'cause we didn't get no kind of sense of it in the other two seasons. And Hannah focusing all on that dude and his daughter and stuff just took up for too much of the storyline. And I wish it could have focused more on like the female agents and their struggles and this and that, like who might not want to also like be there. So I felt like that just lacked. But season 2 was really good and really interesting. So in this episode, it piggybacks directly off of what happened last season. Hannah and Claire, they are now fleeing and staying hidden from the evil organization called Utrax. The organization Utrax have now transferred to the Meadows. The Meadows is completely different from Utrax. There, the girls are able to live their lives as though they're in like a dormitory and stuff. They can interact with one another. They can wear regular clothes. They are now giving new names and stuff instead of number designations. Not all the girls um, have like adjusted to the new lifestyle and they're still wearing their old uniforms from like the last season in the Utrecht facility. But the only two girls they really focus on is Sandy, the blonde girl, and Jules, the short-haired brunette. There is another character that they have that they talk to, but she's not really relevant to the show. She's literally just there. I wish they could have done more with her, but they didn't. But the other character seems very nice. I just forgot her name. But Sandy, Sandy is like both her and Jules are just kind of like, wow, I can't believe like where we're at. But Sandy's more like she feels like a baby who is just put in the real world for the first time and experiencing everything all at once. So she's very much in awe and she loves it there. However, Sandy is very obedient. She does as she's told and she doesn't like to break from the rules. And as you will see in the rest of the season, she does have some struggles here and there, but she's very devoted. The thing about Sandy is that, she's trying to get new antiquated into her new lifestyle and she doesn't know certain catchphrases. So when Jules tells her her made up backstory that she has a boyfriend, he's hot, Sandy doesn't understand what hot means as a phrase when it comes to how a person looks and stuff. And so Jules on the other hand, Jules is more rebellious. She knows everything in this facility is fake. The backstory is all this and that. She thinks it's total crap. She's very much the rebellious teen. And she doesn't like the idea that she's giving a heterosexual relationship. She'd rather be with a female and everything. And when the other girl, who, like I said, isn't relevant, asks, am I your type? She's like, nah. And then Sandy's like, am I your type? She plays it off like she's not, but she has a huge crush on Sandy. That doesn't really go nowhere for the rest of the series, but she does have a crush on her. And it's ironic, she doesn't have a crush on the biracial girl, but she has a crush on the white girl. Interesting. Stuff. And so even like the interesting thing about Jules is like, well, the interesting thing about both her and Sandy is like it's weird because like in the youth, the Meadows, they have this dude who pretty much operates there full time, and they also have the main boss dude. I'll get into him a little bit later, but the dude who operates like the Meadows and stuff, His name is Liam. He's this very soft-spoken man, very calm, very charming. But when you put him out in the field, he's just like any other assassin. And so the thing about this is that they give these girls new backstories as to who they are, like a family, relationships, what they like to eat, drink, schools they went to, this and that. Because these girls, they're not really so much teenagers, they're actually young adults. Like, I don't know, about 18, 19. No, they're probably teenagers, but they can pass as like 18, 19. Because they put them in college dorms later on in the season. Because Hannah's only like 15 or something, and she passes for like a 19 and stuff like that. So anyway, so they give them these new backstories. And what's interesting is that they try to like make them feel as normal as possible so they can blend into society. So they constantly get emails from their mom or dad. But it's not really their mom or dad. It's people working within the Meadows. Now, all the people who work in the Meadows are rogue CIA agents or recruited CIA agents. One person who is recruited is Terry, the black woman from season 3 I was telling you about with the glasses. Her designation is she has to be responsible for 60 girls, and she has to like interact with each and every single last one of them via email. So she's pretending to be the mom, she's pretending to be the dad. Now the girls, they know this, but they still pretend anyway. Jules thinks it's so stupid and everything. And the interesting thing about Jules is she goes back and forth. Like, she'll just talk about how, like, crappy it is and how this is all fake. But then she'll switch to the whole, oh, then she'll pretend to be her fake persona. It's so mind-boggling because she switches it on and off that you get so confused. It's kind of like, you start to actually believe at times, especially with Sandy. Because Sandy knows it's fake too, but no matter what, Sandy wants to believe it's real. Because Sandy just wants a family. She wants friends. She wants a normal life within that facility. So Sandy is beyond brainwashed. She is so brainwashed that at times you start to believe this crap is real, that she's really talking to her mom and really having these interactions and all this other crap. Like, it's because she's the actress, my God, like, she's so believable in that. And then you have to like smack yourself and like, no, wait, this is fake. She ain't really talking to her mom and stuff like that. But it's so believable how they do it. It's like weird brainwashing and stuff. And so Terry, who has to interact with all of them, like I said, she's a CIA agent who took the job. And if she didn't take the job, well, no telling what might have happened to her since they already revealed some stuff. And she's a really nice person. Like, I've already reviewed season 3, so you know how nice she is. And so the main bad guy is John Carmichael. So remember when Marissa helped Hannah escape? And she shot herself to pretend like she was wounded by trying to help them. So when they tried to like escape on their own and stuff. Well, John, interviews her because she can't quite go back to her job. She wants to. She wants to be back as the head and stuff like that. But they're not gonna let her. They're gonna let her work there. But John is now in charge. She does not like that whatsoever, and she doesn't like being asked 50 million questions and stuff. But he has to be thorough to make sure she hasn't like turned to the other side. And he is very devoted. He's very ruthless. Not as ruthless as, say, the dude from last season, but he's up there and stuff. And so she now has to live with this secret of she helped them escape because deep down inside, she loves Hannah. And he finds that out when he looks through her cell phone and finds that picture she took of Hannah sleeping in last season. So he does not trust her whatsoever. So he constantly keeps like an eye on her to the point where he hires somebody to like follow her, as the person who follows her is also supposed to be her assistant. And so that's what's going on with her. Now, as for Hannah and as for Claire, they are now living out in the woods the same way Hannah was taught last season. And there are tons of drones looking for them. But they're not necessarily looking for Hannah. They want Claire back. And so they've been out there for about a couple of weeks and stuff, They have like a tent, they hunt for food. And while this is going on, Hannah is teaching her the fighting skills that her father taught her. So they're learning, she's teaching her how to use like a crossbow, teaching her how to hunt, teaching her how to do hand to hand like move fighting styles with like billy club type things, so she's trying to teach her like the ropes of what Eric taught her. Now I have to say for Hannah this season feels like a soft reboot of season one. A lot of the stuff that happened in season one never get brought up again. The family from season one, how Hannah is very different. Remember how season one when Hannah would be like hanging out with her friends and all of a sudden she'll wake up and have like training montages in her head. So she'll be like constantly running like through like the forest and pretend like she's shooting stuff. She doesn't do none of that no more. The whole animal DNA that's in those girls' body, that completely got scrapped. Her being able to hear from like miles and miles away somebody calling her name, we don't get no trace of that no more. Her strange erotic behavior from season one, no more trace of that. Her loving Snicker bars, no more trace of that. Her being awkward around people, no more trace of that. So either she is fully integrated in society, which makes no sense because she was still blasé to stuff last season, or because of hanging out with them people last season, she is very like assimilated and can understand things better. But other than that, she is totally different now. And Clara, she is kind of more like she just wants to find her mother. That is her main goal. That's been her main goal since she broke out in last season. And she is determined to find her mother no matter what she has to do, who she has to talk to, or how often like she search for and not thinking that people are tracking her steps and everything. And so as they're out and about in the woods, they find a cabin. They sneak in because nobody's there. Claire sees that it belongs to a woman and her daughter, so she takes the photograph of them. Hannah has no idea. They take some supplies that they need, and then they head back to like the woods. After a drone is like looking for them, they like hightail it and they hide. Hannah hides down in the water while Claire hides behind like a knocked over tree stump or knocked over tree. And then, so at some point in time, Claire decides she's gonna go back to the cabin and look for the family there because she wants to find like her mom. However, Clara isn't very good at blending in, so when she talks to this family, it's very awkward and she stares and they all like, well, where are you? Where's your parents? And all this and that. And like, do you need help? And so she hops in the car with them, and they're taking her to like help and get help and stuff, because all she wants to do is search for her mom. Hannah has no idea, and so at some point in time, she tells them what her mom's name is. The girl who's living there, she looks up her mom's name on social media and finds her on Facebook, and they see that she's actually there in Romania. Pretty interesting, huh? Weird coincidence that she just happens to be in Romania. Now, for comes to Claire, we don't know her nationality. We don't know from what country she's from, as we don't with many of the girls. Now, there's a reason why her mom is so-called in Romania. See, at the Meadows, they started interrogating all the girls about Claire. And they talked to Sandy and asked her a bunch of questions, asking her, what did y'all talk about? Because remember, Sandy didn't want to go with her when Claire wanted to escape. And she just said, like, how she says she feels like she's different and how she's looking for her mom. So the family takes her to like a hotel. And when they get to the hotel, they they drop her off. So she goes to the hotel and she goes into her room and her mom is not there. Marissa is. And John is on the other room listening. And so they having a change of like dialogue. Marissa lies and is all like, your mother is dead and everything. You know how she always does. And so this infuriates Claire. When the guards come in, They have a huge fight, huge struggle. But at some point, Claire is taken down by tasers. And as she's like kicking and screaming out of there, she keeps talking about how she doesn't want to go back and all this other stuff. And, you know, and she'll never work for them, you know, that kind of stuff. So, sadly, Clara is now being transferred back to the Meadows, and that's going to make for an interesting season. Now, you're wondering what happened to Hannah. Well, when Hannah does wake up and she sees that Clara is gone, she goes and searches for her. She follows her tracks, and she follows her back to the cabin because she saw the photograph of like the family. Well, because they looked on the internet to find her mom, they now know where that family lives at in the cabin, so they send guards there. It's in a change of like gunfire, but then one of the guards ends up hitting like a propane tank and the house completely explodes. Hours later, Hannah is still alive. She's under the wreckage and everything, and she finds that family that took Claire, and she asks them, where did you take her? So they take her to the hotel, and as she's looking around, wandering around the hotel looking for Claire, all she sees is Marissa sitting in the car, and Hannah just stares at her and waves, and it ends just like that. And so, yeah, the rest of this season gets very dicey. There's a lot of stuff, twists and turns that happen that makes you think, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. Like, what in the world were you thinking? And so, yeah, this season, in my opinion, is the best. I hope it comes out on DVD. Season 1 is out on DVD. But of course, if season 1 DVD sales don't do well, then they won't bring season 2 to DVD. It's 8 episodes long. They're an hour, and they are very good in season 2.
Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.